Good. So welcome everybody for coming to the launch of Not Yours to Keep by Zelly Ruskin. Today is the day. It is available and something that we all want copies of. So we're super, super excited. I'm Lynne Golodner. I am an author as well. And I've been working with Zelly on the launch and the marketing of this beautiful book. And so we're so grateful that you guys are here to help us celebrate this launch. And we will get started in just a minute. The way things are going to go today is we're going to be in conversation, learning a little bit about the backstory of the book, how it came to be. There'll be some time for you to ask your questions. And at the very end, we will be giving away a copy of Not Yours to Keep and also a copy of my latest novel, Cave of Secrets, and a copy of Lainey Cameron's The Exit Strategy. So you have to stay on to be a winner of it, and then I'll get your address and we'll put those books in the mail to you. So please join us at the end to announce those 3 lucky winners. I'll also be putting some links in the chat for you to buy this book and send it as a gift to everyone you know, so we can boost sales on launch day. The link is in there now, and I'll send it a few more times. But I thought maybe we could just get started. So I'll begin by introducing our author of the moment, Zelly Ruskin, a little bit about the book, and then we will be in conversation. I hope that sounds good. So, all right, Zelly Ruskin is a former social worker and adoption consultant. She loves traveling with her family, is a sometimes artist, and is passionate about and volunteers for brain aneurysm awareness. She writes women's fiction spiced with suspense about motherhood, relationships, loss, and love. Zelly and her ridiculous doodle, Strudel, currently live in New York City. So now I want to share with you the book blurb, and then we will get into conversation about Not Yours to Keep. Called a sensational debut by Rhea Frey, this psychological thriller delves into themes of reproductive rights and healthcare, confronting the complexities that define family or the risks that lose it all. Billy Campbell, a Massachusetts adoption specialist grappling with fertility issues, dreams of adopting a baby, but not just any baby, her pregnant client's baby. While her longing threatens to send her down a dark path, her husband Tyler is keeping secrets. He's full of doubts about becoming a father, and he's also trying to figure out who is sending him upsetting anonymous texts and photos. On the other side of town, Anne, a woman scarred by childhood abuse, obsesses with a second chance at becoming a family with the 2 people she regrets ever having let go of, the baby she gave up for adoption 20 years ago and the man of her dreams. Their lives become entangled when the client's newborn is abducted, and Billy becomes a prime suspect. Amid the chaos unleashed by the abduction, Tyler uncovers a link between the person tormenting him and the abduction. But now, Billy has disappeared too. The race to find both her and the baby is on, but will they find them before it's too late? So I've just added the link one more time in the chat. If you haven't already ordered your copy, please go for it. So Zelly Ruskin, welcome and congratulations on the launch of this fabulous book.
Thank you. I'm so happy to see everybody here. It's faces I haven't seen in a long time, faces that have been supporting me at the very end. And this is, and then, and then there's family. And then
We're always in your corner, so that's awesome. That's great. Just a reminder to those who just joined us, please stay on till the very end so that I can announce who are the lucky winners for 3 book giveaways today. So first of all, tell us what inspired you to write Not Yours to Keep?
I mean, I think that the real story starts with a photo that I found in someone's pocket that they lied about, and that relationship was so sour anyway, the lie didn't even bother me, and I will use that as fodder for a book another day. But I really just ignored the lie and just stared at this photo. And just, I wasn't a writer. I wasn't thinking about being a writer. And I just was like, there's a plot. There's something interesting about this. And fast forward a handful of years, when I really was learning how to write, it just kept going and it stayed in my head. And the first book that I was writing, I trashed, and I kept going with this plot. I was able to combine it to make sense of it with the adoption work that I had done when I first started. It was my first career, and I loved it. But it stayed with me in a way like it just affected me and the work that we did. And um, knowing that we really unintentionally changed people's futures.
Mm.
So those were two stories that I was able to combine, with the what ifs of everything. After I left adoption, I discovered I had some fertility issues. And so as I was writing this, it was kind of like, what if I had known that when I was working in the field? Would that have affected me, affected my work, my morals, my ethics? So that's how the photo became a photo of a child, of a baby. And it's how I was able to tell the story of adoption as I knew it, from a perspective that you would not get in a movie or on a TV show. And I did try to incorporate everybody's perspective. So we'll see, it came out complicated, which is my favorite thing to do. So
Awesome. Make it, why make it easy, right? I mean,
my motto.
I find, I don't know if you agree with this, but I find that a lot of authors, their first books are sort of closest to their real life, like it really informed by experiences they've had or people they've known, and then maybe their second novel or beyond ventures out into uncharted territory. Do you feel the same?
I absolutely did that. It wasn't a story about me or my life, but I definitely drew from what would I have done in this experience, or what would that client have said, or how would they have reacted in this circumstance. So
Yeah,
I definitely drew from all kinds of moments in my life like that.
for sure. So tell us how you created your cast of characters. Like, are any characters based on anyone you know? Should we be aware? How'd you come
They're
up with the
not.
names, the
No
people?
one I know, no one I know is in this book, maybe the next one.
The work
Um,
of fiction, right?
it is truly fiction. Um, I really, I was able to combine, I mean, I think, the three characters are Billy, Anne, and Tyler. And Billy, obviously, I was able to structure her a little bit around my experience, and she, in the beginning, I mean, Taylor is on this meeting, and she was with this book in the very beginning, and she knows how these characters have changed and how they went from flat to three-dimensional and back to flat a couple of times. But Billy was clinical,
Mhm.
and she came off as clinical in the beginning. And I think Anne was always juicy.
Mhm.
Um, I think she always had that, right. And I think a couple of people can attest to the fact that she also was like so overwritten. She was a cartoon.
Mm.
And Tyler was a bore. He was so boring. And each restructuring that I did, I mean, I really had to like print out each POV and read them as a story of themselves. Are they, do they have an arc? Are they making sense? And whatever changed with Anne, for example, I would then have to change how Tyler and Billy reacted. So they really fed off each other and grew from each other's reactions. And I also, my kids will tell you, we play does this dialogue sound real a whole lot of times.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. So I hope they get credit, for helping
they,
on the process, right? Yeah,
they were very involved in this book.
yeah.
They're not
Awesome.
in the book, but they're involved in the book.
And supporting you. Yeah, that's really wonderful. It's great. So was there anything that distracted you from finishing the book along the way?
So much. um i so I had this idea for the book. I took this 12-week workshop, how to fast track your book. And about I think maybe the first week that it started, I was diagnosed with a brain aneurysm.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
actually, I had the diagnosis already. I think it was that week that I knew that I had to have surgery. And I'm a little warped, and I kind of wouldn't schedule the surgery till the class was over.
Mm.
Um, so I was going to finish this book. I didn't know what was going to happen to me on the other side, and I pushed it. So I had a beginning, middle, and end. And I probably recovered 6 months before I could really start working on it properly again, a year before I was really whole. And that was COVID, smack into COVID. So
Whoa.
any beta readers or any, people like that that I was trying to rely on to push the story forward, everybody was just not in the mood.
Yeah.
Everything, someone who said they'd get back to me in 2 weeks, like would maybe get back to me in 6 months. So the book really, really got stuck for a
Wow.
while, but it's fine because it ended up where it needed to end up at the right time.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so
So,
I wrote it in 12 weeks. It took 2.5 years to get it.
to get to this point, right? So, how does it feel now that it's out in the world?
It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Um, I'm a very private person, so to share my baby with other people is very vulnerable.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm thrilled by it. I've gotten so far, knock on everything, amazing feedback from it. I think my goal was if I can make one person open their mind about what adoption really is, or feel a little bit more compassionate about one of the players in adoption, I've done my job. But what's happening, and it makes me emotional. People are responding about their own experiences and how they've really related to one or the other of the characters or their journeys, and people that I may have known for a while that I had no idea had fertility issues or had been involved in adoption in some way, themselves or their family. And I'm just hearing incredible stories, and that they're saying that the book gives them hope is just home run.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. So, what was easy about writing the book, and then where did you struggle with the writing?
It was easy to start a day writing, getting myself into the characters, and just letting it flow like that. I love, it's easy, it's wonderful. I don't know, Taylor, would you say adjectives was my downfall?
Too many? Not enough?
I love
You and
quirky.
your kooky adjectives.
That's it. I just write like I talk, and I talk a lot, and I'm very fluffy and flower. I think they call it purple prose now.
Okay.
Um, and I just like I could what was the one that got you
Oh gosh.
the court the sick duck Amber Alert.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of liked it. Like some of them were really good. It was really that was like the main issue was getting those adjectives right. Like the book itself, the plot, I mean, rounding out some characters, but like it was you kind of rocked it right out the gate. You took the time to really, really perfect it, which most people do not take. They don't know how many hundreds of hours that takes. And you did it. You really did it. And it was like
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. And you kept in some of those good adjective things.
We, we minimized them, but they're there. I won't let them go.
So, what is your writing process? Like, tell us how a book comes to be like this.
I think I mean, I am full of plot ideas. I have so many that I want to write and probably not enough time. But I will let them fester in my head, and they will grow in my head. And a lot of how would you do that? How would it look? And then when I finally do sit down, um, it's sort of, I know the beginning and I know the end, and it's sort of like a fun game to see where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Um, I am 100% a pantser.
Mhm.
I can't
I heard a new term
organize
for
this
that
stuff.
now.
You heard what?
I heard a new term for that.
Oh,
Discovery writer.
oh, cool.
I like that better, right? I think it's
I sound intelligent now.
yes, right?
So yeah. So I mean, so that's what I do. I just on a good day or a good week, I get up and I start writing, and it could be dark before I look up again. Like I just see what happens and see where it goes. And the one big lesson that I learned from the first book that I trashed till this book is write, like let the book write what it wants to be, as opposed to making the book what you wanted to write.
Sure.
That was a big hang up for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So, what is next? What are you working on now? Do you think that first trashed book will ever resurface, or what can we
It's
expect?
it's being reincarnated
Okay.
into a book about it's sort of a twist on a woman who fantasizes about murdering her greedy narcissistic husband, because who doesn't? But in this case, she's trapped in this marriage by other and I'm working it out, but the premise is she's trapped in the marriage by a trust fund and a no divorce clause in her prenup.
Mm,
It has a couple of glitches that need to come through. And it really, like Not Yours to Keep, it's not so much about the narcissist, because he doesn't deserve that. It's really more about the relationships between mothers and daughters, parents and their kids, and the impact that their choices have on your decisions and your relationships in the future.
mm,
So
yeah.
that's the underlying content, and that's of course where I found the complication, because I
Yeah,
told you I like complicated.
of
So,
course. Yes.
so
Makes it fun to read, right?
yeah.
That's
Yeah, so
awesome.
this one's having a hard time with it. Had a beginning, middle, and end. It just, the structure fell apart. The structure wasn't working. So now I'm rewriting it in a new structure.
Nice. Cool. So, what questions do we have from our audience? Anybody want to ask a question about Not Yours to Keep, or the writing process, or any of the above?
What was the moment you knew that you had kind of nailed the book? Like you felt like it was really ready? Because I know you spent so long revising it. Like when was the moment where you were like, okay, I think I've done all I can here.
Yeah. It was after a lot of querying that I did too early, like knowing in my heart, for me, it wasn't done. A lot, everyone was like, you've got to do it, you've got to query, it's good. But something wasn't sitting right for me. And I did submit it to She Writes Press, which is a hybrid publisher, which most of you know already. But they agreed it wasn't ready. And so they sent me to a coach, that some group that they work with. And in working it out with that coach, I think part of the problem with this book going forward was, is it women's fiction or is it suspense? And I never really committed to one or the other. And so in this final process, I committed to suspense, and I just felt so at home with it. And I was able to bring that forward. I think you had said to me, Taylor, and other people had said to me, start with the suspense, and I just didn't know how. But I was finally ready to understand it, and I was finally ready to do that. And it blossomed. But I think, that is really what it was. I mean, it was just coming down to that and finding that final twist at the end, which we can't talk about here, but
Buy the book. Buy the
that's when I knew, like, I got it. Like, it is suspense, and it is like, that was, yeah, now you can buy it.
book. We won't give it away because everybody should be reading it and gifting it, and holidays coming up, right? Buy the book, give it to everyone. Who else has a question?
Sally, how did you come up with the title, or did you come up with the title?
Now,
That always been its name?
it was not. It started off as pocket photo because this
Uh,
photograph was such a huge part of the story. And then with each revision and reshuffling, somehow the photo became a very small part of the book. It's an important part of the book, but it wasn't a main character anymore.
yeah.
And so the title really didn't make sense, and wasn't sitting right. And then it was really the 11th hour when I was working on just a paragraph, like, it was one paragraph that just was a little janky, and I was working on it, and somewhere in there I threw in a sentence that said, she's not yours to keep. And I went, that's every mother in this book. Is it an adoptive mother, a birth mother? Is it a kidnapper? Is it, do you have the right? Do you have, should you, could you, will you keep this baby? Is she yours to keep?
Yeah.
So that's where it finally was like, that's the book.
That's awesome. There's a question in the chat. What was the most surprising part of the writing process?
That I could do it.
Really? You felt like an imposter halfway through?
I've been an imposter until like probably like almost today.
It takes time. You
Um,
fake it till you make it, right?
It wasn't, I never studied writing. I didn't ever think, oh, one day I'm going to be a writer. It wasn't that wasn't my path, but it, so like I was just writing for myself.
Mhm.
And then to be able to say, okay, this is working and people like it, and the response is going well, keep going. And then to find a plot that people wanted more of. So like I never said, okay, this is me, this is good, and this is what I have to do, and this is where I'm going. It was sort of somebody just opened a door for me, and I'm going to walk through and see what happens and just keep going until someone tells me to quit and go get a real job. And I have been so lucky. And for some reason, people like this and want me to keep doing it. And I'm thrilled because I love doing it.
That's awesome. For some reason, it's because it's a good book. So it's really beautifully written. So that's the reason, right?
Thank you.
Awesome. Who else has a question? Jennifer.
Hi, Zelly. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm
We
good.
were in a class with Claire McIntosh a few months back, a master class, and she was amazing, wasn't she?
She was great.
And I would say that it's true, Not Yours to Keep is such a great suspense title. I mean, to me, that title just screams suspense. So, and I love the whole, I ordered the book, it came in today.
Oh, nice.
So I have to just go to my local bookstore and pick it up. But the only thing I know about it now is the cover, which I'm really loving. I love the whole colors of it with the white. It's just really beautiful. And I don't really have a question more. I more just want to tell you congratulations, and I'm so excited for you. It's wonderful.
And to you as well on your new book.
Thanks.
So, but yeah, the colors of the cover were very surprising to me. Burgundy is a special color to me. It's often referred to as the color for brain aneurysm awareness. And She Writes did this cover and submitted to me. They had no idea, absolutely no idea. So when my kids and I saw it, it was kind of like, yeah, we're going that way.
Wow, I got chills. That's so nice. Amazing.
It's great.
Does anybody else have a question? Anybody at all? I'm curious about if you have a favorite character, and if so, why?
I do, but you're gonna, he's, my favorite character is a teeny tiny character in the book who's really super weird.
Okay.
And he's an investigator.
Mhm.
And he talks weird and he acts weird, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's too much. And he just makes me laugh. So,
That's so fun. Was he someone you initially imagined as part of the story, or he just popped in?
he just was there.
That's so cool. That is really cool. So, what will you be happy with in terms of the outcome for this book? Like you said, if you really reach for like one person, and clearly you've already reached so many, but do you have sort of a vision for what you hope will happen with the novel?
Again, I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. I'm so happy it's out there, and it's being well received. And I don't, everyone wants to sell 500 books, but I'm just like, if someone beyond my friends and family are going to buy this book and like it, then I'm happy. I did it for fun, and it's working out, and I'm going to keep doing it.
That's awesome. That is great. So we have a request for you to read a page or two. Would you like to do that?
I could do that.
All right. And then we will do our giveaway of a few books. And so just remember to stay on so I can announce you and find out how to send it to you.
So Billy is told in Billy. So Not Yours to Keep is told in 3 POVs, and the chapters alternate Billy, Anne, and Tyler. So we'll start with Billy. This is why I did not narrate my own book. The at-home stick Billy grabbed at CVS yesterday was about to determine whether she'd be a mom or confirm her fate to be an infertile adoption specialist with painful personal insight into her client's plight. She'd made herself wait the whole night to try it because the results were most accurate first thing in the morning. As night faded and a hazy sepia tone spread over Boston's little suburb of Mill Point, Billy could see the outlines of the unlit houses nearby. Besides the neighbor's tabby cat crossing her backyard, she seemed to be the only one awake at 5 a.m. She had been reorganizing the spare room since 3. She pushed the reading lamp another inch to the right on the eucalyptus-colored nightstand, then fluffed the winter mitten peach-patterned shams and accent pillows. About 18 months ago, she had decorated the room with the painted blush walls to highlight the centerpiece hanging between the windows, a floating glass frame with pressed pink roses, peach orchids, Queen Anne's lace, and eucalyptus leaves, her bridal bouquet. Her mother had created the piece of art concealing her signature and the date June 2010 under a flower petal. After 2 years, Billy still found new shapes and textures when she looked at it. Made bittersweet by the loss of her mother, she cherished the wedding memories, especially the image of her, Tyler, her mother, and her in-laws laughing in front of the Parker house, unable to oblige the photographer's quest for a serious-looking family portrait. Billy had known she wanted Tyler's babies as soon as they started dating. She'd fallen in love with the nurturing, jovial way he interacted with the young patients at the children's hospital where they'd volunteered. She'd adored the way the kids, no matter how sick, lit up when he arrived. And later, after they got engaged and were looking to buy a house, he was the one who made sure there were enough rooms for their future children. There had been no doubt in her mind that Tyler was going to be an amazing father. You want me to keep going, or is that good?
I think that's awesome. And of course, we wonder, will he? Because he has doubts. So we have to read it to find out. So, well, Zelly, this is so exciting. So, drum roll about who's going to win books. I don't have a drum to roll, but here we can pretend. Okay, so we have winner number 1. And what I'll do is I'll put my email in the chat and ask you to send me your address so we can facilitate the giveaways. So, winner number 1, who wins a copy of Not Yours to Keep, Stacy Bolton.
Yay!
And then winner number 2, who wins a copy of Cave of Secrets, Brittany Adams. Yay!
Yay, Brittany!
And winner number 3, who wins a copy of The Exit Strategy, Grishma Shah. Yay!
Yay.
So please, Stacy, Brittany, and Grishma, send me your mailing addresses so that we can get those books in the mail to you. And yes, please still buy copies. Give them to gifts as gifts to everybody you know. Zelly, any last comments that you want to share about this beautiful book and the writing of it?
I mean, I just am so grateful to everyone's support and encouragement. And I think everybody on this call has been involved with getting me to this point. And those days when you just want to be like, forget it, you know, none of you would let me do that. And I appreciate you being here, and just go talk about me, go talk about the book. I won't mind.
Love it. That's awesome. Well, we wish you all the best. It's a beautiful book. It's beautiful both physically as well as prose, and it's just wonderful. So I can't wait to see it charge up the charts and take everyone by storm. So waiting for number 2. Thank you guys for being here, and congratulations, Zelly Ruskin.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Zelly. See you next week.
Yay.